Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey, and thanks for tuning in to my channel. I thought I would start a new series of videos, basically highlighting my statue collection that I have. Now obviously me being a Marvel head, it will all be Marvel statues. It's pretty much all one particular, I suppose you could say, brand. Pretty much before Sideshow, before Iron Studios, before, you know, all these new statue companies. Back in the day, there was one major company that had the rights to Marvel statues, and that was called Bowen Designs. I pretty much fell in love with Bowen Designs Marvel statues, this is probably, I think, late 90s, maybe early 2000s, I think is when it sort of started. I think they might have started around 97, 98, but they did a few odds and ends sort of stuff. They'd done some DC statues, they'd done some, I think, some independent ones. They even did like a Sandman and Goon and Concrete and, you know, a few other bits and pieces. But then basically when the late 90s started, I think it was around 97, 98, they actually got the rights to do Marvel statues. So they were probably about one of the only ones. There was a few others. There was sort of Dynamic Forces and, you know, a few others that did Marvel statues, but these were the main ones and the ones that everybody wanted at the time. There are a few fellow collectors, especially here in Australia, I know that collected them as well and probably still have them. But yeah, so I thought, why not start showing some of the statue collection. I've got them all in storage, so they're probably all a bit dusty, but you know, we'll just make our way through them all. All right, so I'll just do one per episode, but I'll show you basically the signature box that they all come in. Before I get to the actual statue itself, they basically did 3 separate ranges. They did a mini bust. So obviously if you know about sort of the art game and the statue game, mini bust is pretty much, as it suggests, as a bust. So it's usually from, like, you know, sort of torso and head. Sometimes it's, you know, from sort of chest to head. Sometimes you get arms, sometimes you don't. They came obviously a lot more elaborate as the years went along. They did a mini statue, and they also did a full-size statue. Now the mini statues and the full-size statues were basically pretty much identical. Some were a tiny bit different, but most of them were just, you know, obviously some people couldn't afford, like, you know, the big full-size statues, so they did a miniature version to make it a bit more cost-effective. But they eventually just got rid of the mini statues because they weren't selling as well as the mini busts and the full-size statues. But anyway, I picked a mini bust for the first one to show you. It was also the easiest to grab at the time. So I will show you now. Bowen Designs have a distinctive box. They all have, try and get it without the glare, they all have the distinctive grey type box. Some are a little bit different, but the majority of them, you knew it was a Bowen statue when you had the grey type box. Obviously there is a design in it. It's pretty much got like lots of names of characters and stuff like that in the background, but you can tell it's the distinctive grey box. Now what they basically did is they showed you on one side of the box if there was multiple versions. So as you can see, this one is obviously Scorpion mini bust. They did a retro version and a modern version, and then obviously there's the Bowen Designs logo. They even had all the, you know, the details of where they were and all that sort of stuff. You know, how tall they were and things like that. And on the other side of the box, they would actually do the history of the actual character. So they generally put like a first issue, and then a more of a modern sort of issue, or modern in that time anyway. And then obviously a list of all the history stuff saying, you know, first appearance, things like that, what kind of powers they had, and, you know, things like that. So basically a blurb just saying who the character is and what they've done. And then the other thing is on the bottom, also gives you the edition number out of like how many there were. So for argument's sake, this one here, there was only 1,500 made, and this one's number 671. So, and then the top of the box just had the where the character was with the more distinctive of the grey background. So anyway, we'll open him up and we'll show you in the flesh. Hopefully I haven't retaped most of these boxes. This one doesn't look like it is. So I'll pull that out. Outside. Now, as I said, this is the retro version of Scorpion mini bust. And there he is. So obviously the retro version didn't have any extra, you know, sort of detail on the actual tail itself. You can see it's still decent size. Like I got a sort of decent size sort of hand, I suppose. You can see how sort of big it is for a reference. But then obviously on the bottom you have the name of it and the edition number. Now, if you were lucky enough in these particular statues, you could actually get ones that were an AP, which stands for artist proof, which was pretty much, they're the rarer ones because they only made very, very small numbers. So there might be an edition of, say, as I said, 1,500, but there might have been 5 or 10 or 20 artist proofs. I'll eventually, I do have a few artist proofs, and I even have some that have signed on little sketches on the bottom and things like that. But obviously, once I get to them, you will see them. But yes, there it is, retro Scorpion. You can even see little sort of scorpions on the base. Yeah, so it's very, very sort of detailed, more comic-y than realistic sort of statues and mini busts. They didn't try to go sort of too over realistic, because then it, you know, obviously it doesn't really look as much like the characters in the comics. So yeah, so there's Scorpion Retro Bowen Designs mini bust. So I'll put him back in his thing there. All right, so that's it for this particular episode. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget, I have my 200 subscriber sub push giveaway at the present time. Just go into the other, you'll see that it'll be like in a couple of videos down from this one. So please don't forget to enter that. And yeah, that's it for this video. So enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.